Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kael and Gaelle Try to podcast,
where we try to navigate life after 25, the successes, the struggles, and the shit show.
We are just two uninteresting people trying to make things interesting.
Welcome to our second episode, everyone.
Yay! Welcome to another episode of Kael and Gaelle Try to podcast. How are you doing, Gaelle?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited to meet our guests later on.
Yes, me too. And also, I want to announce to the people that we already have our first ever sponsor for this podcast. We have Durian Capital PH. Thank you so much, Mr. John Lester Keeble, for sponsoring this episode.
You can actually visit their Instagram. It's Durian Capital PH. And I guess their Facebook too, right?
Yes, it's also Durian Capital PH. They're actually open for pre-orders because they are, at the moment, their store is closed. But they will be announcing soon. So watch out on their profiles. And also, this is a local brand in Davao City. And they actually sell clothings. So if you guys are interested, you can message them on their social media accounts. Anyway, for this episode, Gaelle, we have a very, very interesting topic because we will be talking about marriage.
We're actually talking about marriage or getting married to a foreigner. So that's a pretty interesting topic.
So that's an AFAM.
Yes, an AFAM.
So we have our guest married to an AFAM.
Keep on listening to hear all about their story and how they met and what challenges they face.
And the drama, if they have any.
The drama.
Okay, so before we finally introduce our guest for today's episode, we actually have some comments from the first episode that we had, and we would like to read some of them. Although I would really like to say that I'm upset because we don't have any negative comments. I hope you guys are honest with, any feedback with our presentation. I hope you would, criticize our work so that we could improve more. Anyway, we have...
But don't hurt our feelings.
We have my friend who Yuri Hashiba. She said, nice... It's nice to listen because it's chill and I have no negative things to say so far. The voice are clear and she felt that there is a distinct vibe and character to this podcast. Ooh, I wonder what kind of vibe is that. I hope it's positive. It's a positive vibe.
Let's see. I also have a comment for Sir Archie Anadon, and it was really funny because his comment actually talked about the topics that we talked about in the first episode. He says, started strong with how to go through depression and ended strong with prostitution in Amsterdam. So those are just some of the highlights of the previous episode. If you want to listen, you can go to our Spotify page.
And that only means that Sir Archie really listened from the beginning to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, sir. Anyway,
thank you for the support, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Anyway, let's go to the exciting part for today's episode. Let us all welcome our guest for tonight, Mrs. Marsha Katrina Matheson. Hello, Marsha. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Hi.
I'm very happy that I have something to do.
Yeah. And thank you so much for spending your time with us today, and we're really glad that you accepted our invite.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Again, I don't have anything to do with my life right now, so, I just go with the flow.
So Kael actually knew you from before. Can you tell us something about yourself?
Yes, so Kael and I have actually been friends since we were in 5th grade, and we became closer and eventually probably best friends. When we were in high school, he actually declared me and the other girl, Yuri, Rodrigo, and him like as best friends. So I knew him from there, and we still remain friends for the longest time. And every time somebody, either him or me, here, we're both here in our hometown. We still see each other. They're my only circle of friends, so they're the only people I see here. So yeah.
All right. So since the title of this episode is Marrying a Foreigner at the age of 25, I want to ask you guys, like, is there an appropriate age for marriage? Because it's been an issue, a worldwide issue, not just here in the Philippines, but also in some
Right.
countries, right? Like, kids are getting married to older guys. Like, can you imagine?
Right.
So, what do you think, Marsh?
Yes.
Is there an age appropriate for marriage?
I think as long as it's legal, but I know there are like cultural aspects. Like I know some culture would like marry their, they would marry the girls like so young. Like, but for me, I think 20s
Mhm.
would be like a good number for me because I think 18. I feel like you're still developing as a woman, and I really want women or even men to like really explore who they are first. And I know some people would explore like so fast,
Mhm.
but I think 20s would be a good number for me. It's legal.
And most of the most people at their 20s has jobs which can sustain their
Yeah,
married life,
Yeah.
or what do you,
but hey, marry at your own pace.
and marry at your own risk.
Yeah, marry at your own risk.
Personally, I actually maybe 30s. I mean,
Mhm.
I actually don't think I want to be married, but
Mhm.
it depends on the person. So maybe a good age would be late 20s to
Mhm.
30 to early 30s, just so that if you choose to have kids, it's a prime age for
Mhm.
childbearing. That sounds so weird, but yeah.
It sounds fine. And for me, actually, back in the day, like in the 80s, the appropriate age, or let me say the standard for marriage is you should be it should be before 30s, because
Mhm.
if you marry beyond the, what they say, beyond the number of days in the calendar, as what they say it, it's
Really?
you're too old for like marriage. But
Yeah.
in
Yes.
our generation today, like you can get married as young as 18, and that's fine,
Oh yeah.
right?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I actually saw something the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming coming back to me. It's I saw it on Facebook. It was like let me try to find it. It was something about being in China,
Mm-hmm.
when a female is not married at 27, they're called leftover women. And I got so offended. I was like,
It
what the
sounds so funny.
heck? I
Like,
don't want to. That sounds so offensive.
sounds like a leftover food to me. Like,
Yeah, ang
girl, I'm also
bastos.
27, so.
That's
hmm So yeah, I was pretty offended by the leftover women comment. It's pretty sexist as well.
true.
But right, we actually have a couple more questions for you today, because you did say that you have a podcast called AFAM
Um,
Goals. Um, what can you tell people who have a negative connotation with regards to foreigners marrying Filipinos, specifically Filipino women? I mean, I'm sure you've seen it on Facebook and social
right.
media,
No. Yeah.
right? So,
Mm.
can you give us like an insider or perspective in terms of what you think about all that?
Right. I think honestly, like when I started dating foreigner, I think I was so triggered. I think I was so triggered by like the negative comments about marrying foreigners that I actually made a podcast.
Mhm.
I think that's what it really was.
That was
I
the
was just so
essence.
triggered by it. To sort of let people see the other side, the other perspective. But I also understand that there is a negative connotation because it's also real. It's happening that there are Filipino women who are taking advantage of their
Mhm.
foreigners. But what's not talked about is that there are also foreigners who are taking advantage of us.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of
Yes.
issues like going on about foreigners taking advantage
Yep.
of Filipino, or in general, like Filipinos, not just women.
Yep. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
it's more of like a gender or sex thing, and it's also race thing.
Mhm.
You talked about culture earlier. Do you think can you talk more about that culture factor to what attracts foreigners to Filipinos in general? And do you think there's a fetish thing going on there?
I think it's difficult to say that there's like fetish, especially that I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I exactly don't know how to measure or like to say it is a fetish and it's not a fetish. But like based on my readings, I've read like a shit ton of documents about Filipina dating foreigners way back way back Spanish colonization. That's the farthest I got. But it's during the Spanish colonization, Filipino women are actually paid to marry Spaniards. And even as Spaniards, I understood that there's like a ranking, Chinese Filipinos and Spaniards. If a Filipino woman would marry a Chinese Filipino or like a Chinese mestizo, she gets paid higher if she would marry the pure Spanish blooded man. So even in that point, there is like a ranking on who's like the better AFAM. And also it
Yeah.
means that women have always been incentivized, and it wasn't incentivized by our government
Mm-hmm.
or it was actually incentivized by the AFAM government. So like for
That's
me,
interesting.
you guys are the ones who trained us to be like this.
So
You are
Yeah.
the ones who made us like like sold ourselves or something.
they made the rules. We just followed.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
that's also pretty that's also pretty fucked up if you think about it, because if it dates as far as this Spanish colonization, that means that we've been doing this for a really long time now, and
Oh yeah.
that
Oh.
basically means that you can't blame people today for what they do, because it's kind of been
It's been happening for
normalized.
years, for
Yeah.
centuries.
For years. That's right.
Yes.
But we couldn't say also that it's a normal thing, because as what we've mentioned a while ago, that some of the Filipinas are really, obviously exploiting those American guys. There are even like a few American people, or yeah, let me say AFAM, who are like homeless here in the Philippines because their Filipino wife left them because they just, spent all their money for the
We were in
girls.
I guess that's the reality. When you started dating foreigners, uh did it occur to you that the judgment carried by this um culture would reflect badly on you, or how did you deal with that as your relationship grew?
Oh yeah, definitely. When I was getting serious with my now husband, and at the same time, my family was like trying to build like our own house. I was so concerned that people are gonna think, we were able to
Yeah.
have this house, and it's a beautiful house. I like it. It's a decent home. It's very it's like an upgrade to what we already have right now. So I was so scared that people are gonna think, holy shit, you know, she got this house because it's katas ng AFAM. I was so scared with that. So that's why I actually kept like, I tried to like disprove people. I think it's easy to disprove like people around here because they know me. They know that I work. They know that, I have a decent job. My family we all have, we're all professionals and stuff like that. But it was definitely like a challenge in like how to disprove people. And then sooner I realized, you know what? Let people think what they want to think.
Exactly.
Either way,
Yeah.
you can't stop. You can stop them. That's just the world is. It's always gonna be unfair to women like me who married a foreigner, and I just accepted that. I'm okay with it now.
And the thing about it is that you don't really have to explain yourself to them, especially
Yeah,
Exactly.
like fuck them
Yeah.
if they
yeah.
say anything bad or whatever. At the end of the day, it's your life.
Thanks for your answer. Now you discussed your side of being affected by that culture and how you dealt with that. I just wanted to ask, what's the other side, or how did your husband have to deal with anything like that?
Like when we're physically together, it don't
Mhm.
matter to him. But when I'm here and he knows that I have this kind of thought, like the negative, negative
Mhm.
comments about me and marrying him or dating him,
Yeah.
it affects him in a way that it bothers him that I'm affected. And
Mhm.
there was a time that he wanted to help and he wanted to send money, and I was so adamant and like, no, I don't want to, because when I go to M. Louis, I know they're gonna ask me who the fuck is this guy, and we all know what happens. They talk about it, and it's
Yeah.
that was like his concern, especially when what he wanted is to help me, but I didn't
Mhm.
want it. And it's not like I don't want him to help. It's more like I don't want people to see that he's helping me.
Yeah.
It's because of, again, the negative, connotation over
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that bothers him when I don't accept the help
Mhm. And
from him. When it's really coming from a place of concern.
Fair. Yeah.
people here in our city knows everyone. People knows people. So basically,
Mhm.
when they see you like getting that pile of cash from like Western Union, they would talk about you. And have there been instances where they were actually when they actually ask you about who is this person sending you money?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The first time he sent money and I didn't say no was when it was my niece. No, he actually pushed me to have my niece get an eye operation. Is that the right term?
Like
I don't know, like the
what
Mhm.
kind of
medicine.
operation is that? Laser surgery?
So he has like
LASIK?
a
Is that the
cyst.
LASIK surgery?
He has a cyst,
Oh,
like,
okay.
and
Cyst.
he saw that. My husband saw that, and
Mm-hmm.
so he insisted, please have her checked.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a doctor and have her get checked. And then
Mhm.
it was concluded that it needed to be removed through surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband was like, since it was my suggestion to do all that, I'm gonna help you guys out for the operation. And that time, I really felt like, I think it's unfair for my niece for me to say no, because that help
Yeah.
was for her and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for me. It was for her
Mhm.
health, it was for her
Absolutely.
well-being. So it's not for me to say no. I am just like, the money just
The
passed through me.
medium.
So that's when, yep. So that's
Mhm.
when I said yes. So when I went to like M. Louis, like, people ask me like, how are you? I think it's a how do you say that? It's a sort of like a given question in the form, like, how are you related to him?
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
like an actual person. Does he know you?
Yeah.
Something like that. And
Mhm.
that's it. I came back here, when I was from the States
Mm-hmm.
already, like just a few months ago. And I came back here, the lady actually noticed that. So I was picking up money, right? The lady noticed
Mhm.
that I'm still using my old last name, because in my passport it's still Takado.
Mhm.
So that was the name that he sent the money to my name. And the lady actually knew, I don't know the lady, but she knew that I was already married because my mom has been picking up money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So she kind of have like a backstory. So when I went there, she finally had a face, and who was
Yeah.
sending the money to my mom. And she actually
Mhm.
mentioned my
Didn't
mom. Oh yeah, your mom. Yeah, so she was like, she actually, like, made the whole picture
didn't they
when she
think
saw me. She was
didn't
like,
they
oh,
think
you were the
that
one.
didn't they think that it was your mom's AFAM?
No, because it was under my name.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, you were actually the one sending, why you're still Takado and not Matheson.
Mm-hmm.
But like, like, for me, I answer it because I don't want to be rude, and I don't know how to not answer it and, not be rude, but I answered it. And, again, that's like borderline, none of your business.
Exactly.
But you
Yeah.
couldn't say it to their
But,
faces. I wish you
right,
just
like,
said it.
like, Oh, it was you, you know.
Like if I think if you were in a
Yeah.
different country, you could have said mind your own business, but here in the
Or they
Philippines,
And
you
I,
couldn't.
that's the thing. I don't know how to say it over here.
Yeah, because people here are naturally nosy, and I think if you were actually in another country, there wouldn't be any question. They
Yeah,
wouldn't ask why, like,
Yeah,
exactly.
how are
like
you?
it's just a
That wouldn't be an
transaction,
issue, or
Yeah.
right?
So,
So yeah,
speaking of different cultures, also, have you can you tell us about your wedding? Is this the wedding that you've always dreamed of, or that you have envisioned when you were young?
it's so funny because I don't have a specific like details of my
Mhm.
wedding. The only like words associated to my wedding is like I want it to be private and I want it to be intimate and to really like have a vision on it. It's I just wanted it to just be me, the groom, and the priest or whatever, minister, whatever, shaman, whatever.
So is that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Not really exactly, but yeah, state lockdown that time,
Mm-hmm.
so there are no gatherings,
Uh-huh.
limited gatherings, and we just wanted it to be
Mm-hmm.
like me and the officiating, the
Mm-hmm.
official, whatever, and then my husband. But it's for it to be legal,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta have a witness. So we invited, the people that we think deserves to be in
Mm-hmm.
our wedding.
It's like in the movies. I've seen some clip in the movie where there were only like less than 10 people in their wedding, and I think
Yeah,
that's very intimate and genuine. But that's okay because what's important
yeah.
is both of you, during the ceremony, both of you said I do.
Yeah. But
Because
it was definitely something that we wanted. And just fun fact, we thought that it's just gonna be us. So we
Mm-hmm.
made like this arch
Mhm.
and we made it ourselves. We He built it, I painted it, we both designed it. So we thought it's just gonna be us, but we still wanted to have the presence of his parents.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the wood that we used was like from his dad. It was his dad bought it, but his dad bought it and wasn't able to use it, so we used that wood. And then the vine that we used, we took it from his mom's backyard, from his trees, from her trees, I'm sorry. So we
So
thought that
cute.
that was a good like sort of representation of
Mm-hmm.
them
Mhm.
involved in the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Very
really cute.
very cute and
yeah.
very meaningful. Did you already know before that you will be marrying a foreign guy?
No, oh my god, yeah. No, not necessarily like before like know that I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
marrying a foreign guy. But there was like a moment in my life which made like a complete 180. I know I'm gonna be marrying a foreign guy.
Can you
uh,
tell us about that moment?
oh yeah, I would definitely tell you that. So I have like my Filipino crushes here and there, but growing up, I kind of knew I wasn't like the beautiful Filipina girl type. I would always say this, like I'm the exact opposite of what guys wanted here. Like what they perceive as beautiful. They wanted somebody with a straight hair. I have the curliest hair. In the family, they wanted somebody like light skinned. I'm more in the darker side. And a lot of things that that is opposite of the standard of beauty over here. So when I was like 18 years old and I went to Canada for exchange student program, I got the attention of foreigners. No, not they're not foreigners over there, of course, but I got the attention of the AFAM.
The locals
And
there. Yeah.
yes, men, women, I got compliments, and that's when I realized, holy shit, there's like a whole different audience that's
Mhm.
willing to clap for me. So why would I keep performing
Mhm.
for
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 Filipinos.
for the Filipinos?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was like, I found my audience. That's where I'm gonna play.
And you played
Yeah.
well.
Interesting. And you played.
So basically, you're just saying that you need to surround yourself with people who values you, right?
Right. You know, why would I really like,
Why would?
go for
Mhm.
a group of people who, doesn't, as you said, doesn't value me. So I would rather, spend my time. It's like when I'm on Tinder, I never swipe right. Oh, swipe. Yeah, I never swipe right Filipinos.
Mhm.
I don't want to waste my swipe rights. So I just keep swiping right foreigners. Yep. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really
We're
don't want to
definitely
waste
gonna
it.
try that too.
Taking down notes.
Don't waste your swipe right. Charing.
Sige na, be next.
um. Okay. Ano ba yun?
Last question na ta.
Okay. Last question.
Kay
Na?
murag taas kayo ta.
Oh, sige, sige, sige.
Okay ra?
Uh, okay, ra? Okay, ra. So, what are your challenges as a married couple? And what were your challenges as you were dating as well?
Our challenges as like a married couple was that, we did not like have a lot of time to spend with each other as, not being legally married yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like physically together. We've been dating online for 2 years, and I was just there for 3 4 months, and then we got married. So we didn't really have a lot of time to, get to know each other
Before getting
in
married.
the full sense. So our biggest challenge was that it was like sort of an abrupt life for me, that okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
suddenly somebody, and for him, okay, he had to adjust and accommodate somebody else in his room,
Mm-hmm.
in his life, in his space. So that
Yeah.
was, I think it was just the fact that it was a sudden change.
Mhm.
But the thing is, the core of both of us is that we both wanted each other. So you got to make it work. But that was just it. And during the dating period, I think what was really hard, like other than it being online,
Mhm.
because of course it's really challenging. Other than it being online, is the feeling of uncertainty.
Mhm.
You don't know if this relationship is gonna progress. You don't know what are your next challenges.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for example, somebody has to move, either him coming here, or what happened with us was I was the one who went there.
It was
Yeah.
So it's very
definitely
uncertain. Like, you don't know what's your next move until you're gonna make a move.
it was
Basically.
definitely a risk that you have
Oh yeah.
taken.
Yeah.
Can you
And
imagine that? I
mhm.
I flew over there. Like,
Some
who the
people
fuck
even
does
get
that?
even get tricked, or they get scammed when talking to
Yeah.
foreigners. They thought that they are talking to foreign people, but in the end they are only talking to Filipino scammers, asking them for money because of
Right?
the packages they sent in, whichever it is. So they have to send this amount. I've heard
Yeah.
stories like that. And you, in your case,
Crazy
you
because
you even flew to US.
yeah. It's crazy because both of us, like, when I was like flying and traveling, like going,
Mm-hmm.
gonna see him. It's crazy because I did not believe that I was gonna meet him
Mhm.
until like I saw him, and he felt the same way. Like it's only gonna happen when it's really happening.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Like, because both of us were still careful. Like, is this woman gonna show up, or like is
Yeah.
somebody
Is
really
it a
gonna get me at
catfish?
the airport? You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
we're both, but I think we were both honest people. It
Mhm.
turned out.
You just met the right person
Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the right
Yeah.
at the right time when you opened your browser.
Yeah, actually, for him, because it took him years, over a decade.
Mhm.
being on the internet to find somebody.
So he
see.
was really trying to find someone like for
Yeah,
years. So that was
he
like
really was,
mhm,
and I know that he was also he knew that he was also already into somebody not from over there.
mhm.
Oh, okay.
He
Interesting.
knew that he was, and I think that is like also key for any like relationship, is knowing what you actually really want.
Mhm.
Of course, yes. That's
Yep.
very important.
Yep. And I guess with like us who dated foreigners on both sides, it's very specific that we wanted somebody different from us,
Hmm.
or foreign. It was very specific.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You talked about your differences in terms of culture and everything else. When you moved there, were there a lot of change? You talked about changes as well. Were there any culture-based changes or challenges that you guys faced together? Like um the daily routine that he had, how did he start to welcome you into it?
The thing with me is I think I'm no. The thing with me is, for me, I'm like a chameleon, and I just adapt to whatever is my environment, and be contented about it and be okay with it. But the biggest change for me is not seeing like your family all the time, even in his part. Like, it's unusual for them to like gather every
Mhm.
week, or like gather every month just to like see your family. But over here, we make up stupid stuff just to see your
Just to
family.
meet everyone in the family.
Exactly. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
so it's someone's birthday, and we just had a back-to-back birthday, and before that birthday we just went somewhere all together. So we really like make up stuff just to see each other. But over there, people are really gonna schedule stuff. So
Hmm.
that's something that's very, like, I think it's a missed opportunity for them,
Mhm.
because they're such lovely people.
Hmm.
And it would be so nice to like have what we call like bonding
Yeah.
But it's
together.
yeah.
But they're also busy, they're also caught up with their
Mhm.
lives, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that that's what we're used to.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
just part of their
And
Exactly.
culture.
for him, it would, I think it would drive him crazy to have people come
It
to the
would be
house all the
something
time.
really new for him. I don't know if he can, adjust. If you bring him in the
Mhm.
Philippines, you'd be
Yeah.
celebrating, every day with your family. That
Oh
would be
yeah.
so unusual for
Probably.
him.
Sometimes he would really be like when there's a lot of people
Mhm.
coming, he would be like, oh
Hmm.
baby, that's so many people, the noise.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
foreign language as well for him. But that is something he's not really used to. They would gather once or twice a year, and I couldn't imagine that. Like, what the fuck? I couldn't. At home. Yeah, and being just by ourselves at home.
So that's a big change.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's such a big change that I don't know how to cook just for a few people.
Oh, so you
I
cook a
make
lot.
so much food. I don't know.
So how did you face that?
Adjust.
How did you adjust with the servings, with the number
Girl,
of
I'm still
with the
not
tea?
adjusted. I still make so much food. I
I
still
wish we
make so
could
much.
we could eat some of the leftovers that you have there.
That's the thing. I'm also using it's We have this one not one scenario. We were eating lechon manok,
Mhm.
and when he looked at the lechon manok, he's like, okay, my wife just got like a few slices, and he asked me like, hey, get why do you only get like small bits of chicken? And I was like, oh yeah, I don't have anyone to share it with, so it's just the two of us, so might as well get more. I was so used in like thinking for like, oh, there are still other people who's gonna eat,
Yeah.
oh, my dad, my cousins, my sister, and all the people around me. And I was so used to just getting like a little bit. And
Yeah, thinking about the others.
he was so concerned. He was like, babe, please get more food. It's just the two of us.
All right, so I think we've talked a lot about your cultural differences. So at this point, I wanted to ask you, Marsha, any advice or any message to those people who wants to marry foreign people?
My advice is that you have to put in mind that marrying foreigners is like it's work. It's not something that you just it randomly happens. For me, it's something that I really worked for. It's something that I have to log in every day, my Skype, talk to my then sort of chatmate, became my boyfriend, became my husband. So you have to do your part. That's the thing. You don't cheat it. You don't get chased. At least that's not what happened to me. We both did our part. So you gotta put time and effort. It's almost like, okay, it's almost like really going for your dream. It doesn't happen randomly one day
It's
for
not,
me.
it's not like a
Yeah,
Cinderella story, so you really need to work on it.
I think so. Guess you have so many differences other than you being separate individuals. You have different culture. You both live in like a different place. Um, Also different kind of mindset in a lot of things, in family, in work, and it's really it's like a job. But if it's something that you really want, go for it, because it's really worth it. For me, it's really worth it. Yeah, it really made me, and still making me so happy. And I'm so happy that I chose somebody like him, foreigner.
Somebody like him married you. Thank you so much, Marsha, for giving your time and effort in joining this episode today that we have for marrying a foreigner at 25.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to explain and talk about the different controversies that come with that type of relationship as well.
Right, you guys are very welcome, and I hope I made sense in what I've been
You did.
talking about, what I said.
Yes, you did, of course. And I believe also that our audience are, who are listening is gonna enjoy this episode that we have.
I think it's really important to talk about these things as well because, as we talked about earlier, it's a cultural thing. It's the notion is there, and the more that we talk about these things, the more that we open up conversations about what's wrong with these types of mindsets and what's great about these relationships and why it's not that particularly actually controversial. It's just a normal relationship where two people make it work, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's actually a good time to end here, and then maybe eventually we'll call you to come back and talk more about
Absolutely.
AFAM goals, right?
Absolutely.
And actually, I want to thank you guys for giving somebody who was like a different relationship, sort of, an opportunity to talk about it in your podcast. And that means Gail's friends and Cal's friends is also gonna hear from me, because I know my friends have heard what I have to say. And you guys' friends are gonna hear it too. So I'm thankful that you guys invited me, even though I'm so chaotic.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're fine.
You're not. We're also chaotic. We match that energy.
Anyway, guys, once again, thank you so much. And for your recommendations, comments, and suggestions, don't forget to send them, DM them to our social media platforms. You can also email us at kael.gaelletrytopodcast@gmail.com. My Instagram account is sin_sagan. That's Sin Sagan.
And mine is Daily Gaily. That's DAILYGAELLEY. And what about you, Marsha? Do you want to plug any social media accounts or anything at all?
Just no. Just at
Okay.
the pub goals one day.
Okay.
One day. And
We will
also,
look
guys,
for that.
yes, and guys, please don't forget to like and follow our sponsors' social media platforms, which is Durian Capital PH. Subscribe to their channel and follow their accounts, and you can DM them for pre-orders. And also, you can message us at Kael and Gaelle Try to podcast in Facebook and Instagram also.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much
I
for
hope you guys I hope you guys had a good one, and I hope Marsha had a good time as well. We will see you soon, and you can hear us soon.
Bye now. Bye Marsh. Bye Gaelle. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.